Hello, Taurus. Venus opposes Saturn on the 15th, and on the 12th, Venus moves into Gemini. And that's going to cause things to speed up for you, Taurus, and also it's going to cause you to feel a little bit disquieted or uncomfortable because Venus rules Taurus, and Venus is in Taurus until the 12th, so then you're going to become disquieted when it moves into Gemini. You understand? Because Gemini is an air sign, mutable air at that, and you're fixed Earth. Now, let's see how your ruling planet of Venus affects you this month, Taurus. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. This is an angelic horoscope transmission from your Venus angel, Asmodel, who resides over your fixed Earth nature, and these are his messages for you in love, money, and health. First, of course, the most important, the love transmission. The love transmission, we want to start off with your guardian angel, Uriel, who resides and presides over all of the earth signs. Now, he comes through to you from your specific Taurus angel, Asmodel. It's like a refinement, or more of a focusing, if you will. It's a refinement, Asmodel. Okay, now, your love life is going to be a little bit hard this month, and here's why. Okay, the 7th, the moon opposing Venus. That day is not good for spousal relationships. It's difficult for primary relationships. That's the 7th, moon opposing Venus. On the 4th, this is important. There's a total lunar eclipse, a blood moon in Libra. It's the 3rd blood moon in the tetrad. The 4th blood moon happens in September of this year, 2015. Now, the blood moon, because it's in Libra, is going to cause people to want to balance scales, to want to get revenge, so to speak, in love matters and financial matters and all of that. So, what's going to happen is you need to understand that the blood moons this is a lunar eclipse, and lunar eclipses go after the soul. The soul is represented in Scripture by the word Israel. And that's what lunar eclipses go after. They go after the soul. That's where you're going to feel any kind of anything that feels injurious. That's where you're going to feel it. It's not that you have to protect yourself so much. It's that you have to methodically work through it by the numbers kind of thing. Just by the book, by the rules. Just whatever scriptures you're into, whatever judicial system you're into, follow that. Pick one and follow it, and you'll be fine. Okay? Now, during solar eclipses, just for your information, it's not happening right now, but just for your information, a solar eclipse affects in this way the ego. People go after the ego in a solar eclipse. And that's represented in Scripture by the nations. And you can find all this information in the Zohar. It's readily available. Zohar is a very important book that the Master Jesus read, and he also read the book of Enoch. And he wasn't an illiterate idiot. He was from a wealthy family. So get real. All right, now, that's the blood moon. Again, revenge, because it's in Libra. On the 18th, there's a new moon in Aries. Now, that's helpful, because the new moon in Aries will take some of the martial element off a little bit. Put a damper or put a wet blanket over that martial energy for combat, and for martial revenge to the point of extremes. That'll help keep things more calm and try to keep it more cerebral, and that'll help. And the new moon again in Aries, that will assist that aspect to have things calm down a bit. On the 19th, Venus square Neptune creates odd relationships in matters of love or family or friendships. It's just people get attracted to odd, the bizarre, the unusual, the unique. And that's going to be a theme that you'll find out is going to carry on for quite a while now. Okay, now, for your financial transmission, your money transmission from your Taurus angel Asmodel. On the 15th, Venus opposes Saturn. And that is very bad for this tax season. You know, that's the day that we're all supposed to have our taxes in, like the last day of yada yada. It just doesn't help that Venus opposes Saturn on that day. And with Saturn retrograde in Sagittarius, again, people are going to want to settle old financial scores. So they're going to, you know, want to go after people with all these threats and that kind of thing. And another thing is that people are going to hype a lot of things. A lot of it's going to be hype. Again, it's because, remember, Sagittarius is just perception. So a lot of it is hype. Because people have been able to do a lot of their own taxes because of what the internet provides. So a lot of things that people used to have to go to other people for, people can do on their own now. And that's causing people to hype things more. So just don't let people scare you, and don't do things that you feel uncomfortable with. Stay with what you're comfortable with. And again, on the 12th, when Venus goes into Gemini, you're going to feel things speeding up. You're not going to want to, you know, that's going to be fast enough. If you try to go too fast, you're going to end up doing things inappropriately, and then, never mind about the ego, again, that blood moon, they go after the soul. And what is the soul exactly? The soul is your relationship with other people. And the more technology we have, the less to communicate. The more technology we're given to communicate, the less we communicate. And the more isolated we are. And when you're isolated, your soul goes away. You don't have a soul when you're isolated. When you communicate with others, that's where your soul resides, in your relationship with other people. That's the world soul. We're all one. And we vivify our soul when we relate to each other and engage each other. We destroy our souls when we isolate and stop communicating and stop relating. So don't lose your relationships with other people for fear of your soul or fear of your ego. Both will flourish, your ego and your soul. And Solomon's temple is then rebuilt, sun and moon, if you relate to other people. And just do your best and stick to the rules as much as possible. And don't rush, just do your daily work properly. And you're fine. Now your health. On the 15th, Venus opposing Saturn. There's trouble with the throat and the digestive system. So you just want to be aware of that. On the 20th, that's again because of the retrograde situation. There's a lot of things going on with this because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and that's a ruler of health and wealth. So you just be careful of your digestive system and throat. All right, and also the chest, that chakra. Yeah, be careful of those areas on the 15th when Venus opposes Saturn. Now on the 22nd, Venus trine Jupiter. That's good for these areas. That this trine is beneficial. And again, even though Jupiter is ruling Sagittarius and Saturn is retrograde currently, it went retrograde on the 14th of March, just last month. You know, that is what's causing some of the dyspepsia, and people don't know what they're doing because things seem like they're going backwards. They're not really going backwards. Again, it's a perception of wealth and health. It's in Sagittarius, which is the divine tone of I perceive or perceiving. So just be aware of all that, all these different aspects. Okay. Now on the 2nd, these are your Afterglow highlights. We're just going to give you a few of these highlights that we think are important, the ones we found most important this month. On the 2nd, the moon is trine Venus. On the 7th, the moon opposes Venus. On the 12th, the moon is trine Venus. On the 15th, Venus opposes Saturn. And Luna is square Venus on the 15th as well. A lot going on the 15th of April. And just with tax season, it's all, and the blood moon, it's all pretty crazy, seriously. On the 17th, the moon sextile Venus. On the 19th, Venus square Neptune. On the 21st, moon conjunct Venus. On the 22nd, Venus sextile Jupiter. On the 26th, Venus sextile Uranus. Now, there's a story I'd like to tell you. Why we don't put all the lunar aspects into these things. We put some of them, not all. When I was a young neophyte in a Rosicrucian order, an adept once told me that he said, when I was just a neophyte, that when he does Rosicrucian tarot, he said that if he gets the moon card in a reading, he throws out the whole reading and starts over again. He says, you just can't trust the moon card. And it always stuck in my head. And even though I don't totally go that far, it did affect me, and I do place a lot of clout in what people say. Although he was the same adept who also in a formula put Bethor in the stead of Phaleg in to banish cockroaches. So we're not sure that was the right thing to listen to him. But it's just like sort of when they tell the jury, pay no attention to what that lawyer just said, that attorney just said. The jury is instructed to strike that from your memory. Well, that's not going to happen. They're going to remember it. So what are you going to do? We just have to do our best, right? Okay. Thank you, Taurus. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel, and join us again next month.